News you can use.
Welcome to another edition of The Scoop, providing you with some news you can use. I'm Louise Thompson, the Executive Director of Tampa Bay Community Network. You can find us at www.tbcn.org. With me today is Grace Armstrong. And welcome, Grace. Glad you could be here. She is the CEO of the Nonprofit Leadership Center in Tampa Bay, or of Tampa Bay. Of Tampa Bay. Welcome. I'm glad you could be here with us today and provide some news that folks can use about running nonprofits. Tell me about your agency, its history, when it got started.
Okay, I'd love to. Stop me if I talk for too long. We're a well-kept secret, unfortunately, but the Nonprofit Leadership Center of Tampa Bay started out in this community as the MAP program, Management Assistance Program, and some people might remember that name. We were started by the United Way, the Kahn Memorial Foundation, and the Children's Board of Hillsborough County, all major funding sources in this community, all who felt it was important to protect their investment in the nonprofits that they support, because not everybody knows how to do everything well. So the role of the Nonprofit Leadership Center is to strengthen the capacity of nonprofits to do their work so that they can meet their missions effectively and so that they can be sustainable, especially in these tough economic times. Everybody needs new ideas and best practices in how to be sustainable, how to run a business. So the Nonprofit Leadership Center, which I'll refer to as NLC maybe because it's quite the mouthful.
A long name, yeah.
Our work is to teach and educate board members and nonprofit managers and staff on how to run a business with best practices, how to read financial statements, how to prepare financial statements properly, how to report to the IRS what your work is through the Form 990, how to ask people for money so that they actually give it, and you name it. Anything to do with running a nonprofit business or even how to start a nonprofit is the work of the Nonprofit Leadership Center.
And you do that through classes and
we do that primarily
individual?
Through classes. We will do it through one-on-one coaching, through classes on site, and then we offer classroom-style training, which is the more traditional approach.
Do you have facilities to do that in, or is it outside the...
No, we do not have a facility. That would be a dream. But we go to different venues, and the good thing about that is that it allows us to be mobile and geographically accessible to the community.
So you'll go to a university site or to a
We'll go
nonprofit?
Wherever there is free space, good, nice, free space. But we want to be in Pinellas County, and we want to be in Pasco, Hillsborough. So we have venues that we have partnerships with that are comfortable and at no cost to us, where we can provide our training to the community.
Is there another agency like this in Florida besides this center?
Yes, we actually are a network of what's called Management Support Organizations, MSOs. MSOs exist throughout the country because funding sources understand the need to provide capacity building resources to the nonprofit community.
I'm not sure you mentioned, you've been, your organization's been doing this for...
No, I didn't mention
How many?
it.
How long?
Since 1996, which is not a very long time compared to many of the nonprofits.
Right.
But that's because it takes a while to realize what you really need, and so the funding sources saw that not every nonprofit was running their business to the best capacity. And capacity building as an endeavor became well known in the mid to late 90s. So we are in the business of capacity building, and that is now a big trend. People want to fund capacity building because it helps everybody.
And it helps in the long run, not just a short-term fix for a problem you might have right today. carry
Exactly.
them further, right?
It builds resources. As an example, every nonprofit must have a board of directors.
Right.
Okay, so the quality of the board is key to the success of a nonprofit organization. But when someone is invited to be a board member, they don't necessarily come with training on
True
what
enough.
to look for, how to be a good board member, how to be responsible.
Oh,
And
or the separation between day-to-day management and board
exactly.
duties and fiduciary duties, et cetera, correct?
Exactly. Some board members and CEOs don't know the line
Right,
between operating and being an advisor.
right.
So we teach that. We have a whole series for board members, which is aptly named Get On Board, the Art of Board Governance. It's a full-day program where we teach the fiduciary responsibility of a board member, the roles and responsibilities of the board versus the staff. We talk a lot about the board's responsibility to be a fundraising arm of the organization. And then beyond that full day, we have a whole little half-day series where we concentrate on specific issues that are of importance, like financial oversight. We do a whole half day on that.
That's an important one.
And then we do a half day on fearless fundraising for boards and another half day on strategic planning. When board members don't fundraise to the degree that a CEO might want them to, it's usually because they're afraid. They're afraid to ask. They don't know what happens if they get told no, and they're afraid that if they ask and get a yes, that then they're going to have to give to the other organization of the person that they asked. So we try to work through all the scenarios that a board member might have, barring them from being successful at
With all the
fundraising.
service that you're providing, how many staff do you have?
We're a very little organization. It is myself and 2 other staff, but we do use a team of community presenters who are,
Oh, so they'll come in and help if they're
yes, we
more
have
knowledgeable.
experts who present in different areas. So yes, I do some teaching, but we have experts in, especially in the financial arena. We bring experts to do the teaching.
Okay, want to hear more about that? We're going to take a brief break. We'll be back in just a moment. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
And this is Billy when he was a baby.
He's so cute.
And this was his first school play. And this is Billy's graduation from grammar school. Wait till you see the videos I have. I have so many tapes. Let me find them.
No, I can't wait.
Wait till you see the potty training we did.
Mom, our VCR doesn't work anymore. We can't watch those tapes.
Kathy, now you can watch Billy's potty training video.
What do you mean?
I had all the tapes transferred to DVD at Tampa Bay Community Network. I didn't have to mail the tapes away, and I got them transferred very quickly.
We're back with The Scoop. I'm Louise Thompson, the Executive Director of Tampa Bay Community Network. And with me again is Grace Armstrong, the CEO of the Nonprofit Leadership Center of Tampa Bay.
Very good.
We were just talking about some of the instructions you were giving people, and you also have a certificate program, do you not?
We do. We're very excited to have a partnership with the University of Tampa, the College of Business. And we offer a certificate in nonprofit management, which we consider the ultimate in education for nonprofit leaders and emerging leaders.
Where can I sign up? Okay.
Go to our website,
Okay.
nlctb.org. It is not free. It's important to know that UT is a private university, but we do offer scholarships for the right emerging leader to participate. But this program is the best of academics and real world instruction, because we have a business professor in the classroom teaching with a true practitioner. So it's the real world and academics
With
all in
theory
one.
and the
Theory
real,
and practice.
okay, town and gown together.
Exactly.
How is this structured? Is it like a year-long program
It's an
or bigger?
18-month-long program.
Okay.
It is broken down in 4-week-long segments. So it's intended for the working person who can take 1 week off and go to school for 1 week straight. It's 5 days, 8 to 5 each
Wow.
day. There are projects, so it's a tough week because you have to do a lot of work in that week, and then subsequent to the week as well. And then you get several months break. So it's spread out over 18 months, but it's 4 weeks of actual sitting in class.
Oh, it's only 4 total weeks.
4 total weeks.
But they are 4 total weeks.
4 total weeks over the course of 18 months.
You're talking like 160 hours or something like this.
I haven't multiplied it out, but
okay.
It's 4 times, never mind.
40 hours?
Yeah.
Or no?
4
Is it a
times
40 hour?
Yeah, exactly.
Look, see, I can.
You did do the
I
math
could multiply.
correctly. Very good.
So, okay. But it takes this period of time, and in between you're working on projects that are you working on things that relate to your own nonprofit? Or no?
You may. Every group, it's a cohort, a group, has, and it's broken into multiple little groups within the larger group, and they pick a nonprofit. Each group has a nonprofit to work on. It may be yours, it may not be, but it's,
okay,
you decide,
somebody
it's a
chooses.
group decides.
That class, in addition to what you were talking about, the differential between board responsibilities and functions and day-to-day operations and everything, are there lessons? And so, are there lessons in managing people?
Absolutely,
And what else covers?
It covers leadership and marketing and board governance and development, accounting. All facets of nonprofit management. And the reason that we do this and the reason UT partners with us is because we believe that leadership is one of the most important aspects of nonprofit success. If you have a good leader and you have a good board, you will have a successful nonprofit.
Even if the economy's down
Even if the economy's
toilet?
down, because you find creative ways to overcome.
I want to hear about some of those creative ways. I know there's been a number of articles now written on this term, social enterprise, but we'll talk about that later. Do you need to be, you mentioned that this was originally formed to support organizations that were already being funded by United Way, correct? And Con,
well,
or all?
It's all organizations.
So you
it
don't
was
have to
funded
have
with
been-
that in mind, but it was funded with the nonprofit sector in mind.
Okay, so
if
you
you're
don't necessarily have to have been or be funded presently
No.
by any of those groups, Con or the Children's Board.
Correct. And you don't have to be a nonprofit because the corporate world, who is on boards? The corporate world. So we want people that work in corporations to come to our training as preparation for being excellent board members. So, we welcome anyone that wants to learn more to come to our training.
So you'll actually have training. If there were, I'm an ex IBM or General Foods, big companies, a Fortune 1000 company, and very often those companies want their employees to participate on boards because they want a presence in the community. They want the community to know their corporation.
Right. One of our goals, it would make me tremendously happy if we got one phone call from this program. We want to go on site to corporations and train their people to be on boards, so that especially the up-and-coming young professionals who may
Right.
never have served on a board.
And
if
that'll
they-
make the difference between whether or not maybe they'll succeed,
Right.
correct? Because they need some community
Absolutely.
presence.
If they know what to expect and can come in with a certificate that they have participated in board training, it will enhance the nonprofit and it will enhance the individual's ability to perform with excellence.
And I do know this, that a lot of because we just recently got one of our members down at the Tampa Bay Community Network at the Public Access Center was able to access a grant from one of the large utilities because she worked there, and she's spending her time volunteering and crewing on productions that we cover, community events that are being done by nonprofit organizations, neighborhood groups, and so forth. And so it seemed like her corporation would only have wanted to fund places that their own personnel were also supporting.
Exactly. Yeah, there are a lot of corporations with matching grants or a dollar for dollar on volunteer hours. So I'm sure that participating in board training would qualify for those larger corporations.
So you would go and the corporations would identify the people, or people would identify themselves.
Yes.
I want to do something in the community. My favorite thing is sports, and maybe it's Little League or it's something like whatever it would be.
Well, we train people to be good board members. It doesn't matter what the nature of the cause is. We train you to be a good board member. And let me clarify that there is a fee for our training. Even though we are a nonprofit, that doesn't mean that there is not an exchange of money to be had. Our funding...
Rent still needs to be paid.
Exactly. And so training board members in corporations is for a fee, but it is very reasonable. And if anybody wants to call us and talk to us about it, I'd be glad to share more information.
Okay, and we're going to have your number out on the screen a little bit. Now I want to talk to you about social enterprise, but we are going to take another little break, and we'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Thank you.
Tampa Bay Community Network, may I help you?
Hello, I would like to produce a TV show on your planet.
Great.
Do I have to be a Tampa resident?
No, you don't have to be from Tampa to take our video production training classes or to have a show on our channels.
Really? Well, I'm from another planet. Is that okay?
It's fine. Tampa Bay Community Network members come from Orlando, Valrico, Lakeland. They come from everywhere. Being from another planet is no problem. You're from our galaxy, right?
Yes, I am. How do I get started?
Sign up for orientation class. We have them twice a month and they are free.
I'm in. Sign me up.
Anyone over the age of 18 can take TBCN Video Production and Final Cut Pro edit classes, produce programming, and host programming right from our studios at the University Mall. Call 813-977-5200 today and sign up for our next orientation class, no matter what planet you're from.
We're back with The Scoop and with Grace Armstrong of the Nonprofit Leadership Center, and I'm Louise Thompson, Executive Director at Tampa Bay Community Network. Grace, what are some of the types of nonprofit groups that have come and over the years, I guess, taken these classes, or their board members have taken the classes? What types? Just so people can figure it out.
Every type, from the small group home, it's somebody that might have two little group homes, but they're a nonprofit, to a
group home taking care of the elderly or disabled, mentally. Okay.
Yeah, small after-school programs for kids in Sulphur Springs, to a large agency serving young kids. It's everybody. I believe that almost every nonprofit over the years has been through our program. If you're a nonprofit, I believe you have something to learn in one of our programs, and for sure.
So it could be somebody with a little tiny budget that doesn't even pay their salary.
Often the little tiny ones need it the most.
Well, of course,
because they have so much to learn.
And then some of the nonprofits that are in the $1 million ranges.
Oh, sure, because they have board members who cycle through, and they know that they could benefit from learning what's involved in being a board member.
And all of us know.
And how to raise money.
Our skills,
and accounting. There's all sorts of things that we need to know.
The things that make us frown. Accounting.
Right. Well, the Form 990, which is what every nonprofit has to file for the IRS every year, they've made a lot of changes this coming year, and so people need to know.
I'm grateful we still have an accountant and a CPA. We can still afford a CPA because I don't want to run through all of that. But because of the state of the economy, probably going to be a growing number of people taking your classes or trying to somehow learn from your organization. But in addition to that, we're reading a lot, and I know there was articles even with your organization about this word, these two words, social enterprise, which means, hey, nonprofit, you better go out and make some money.
Right. The way I like to refer to it as is more money for more mission. Sometimes people say, well, a nonprofit shouldn't make money, shouldn't have a profit. Let me tell everybody now that is not so. The reason we all need to make money is to grow in order to meet our missions. So social enterprise is creating new income generating activities in order to have more money to be able to meet your mission. I bet you want some examples.
I do.
I happen to participate with the Children's Board of Hillsborough County in their business plan competition. The winner happened to be a program called Share, and they deliver frozen meals in a refrigerated truck to neighborhoods. Their core program is having people come to them and buying food at a low cost, but they decided they needed to increase their revenue by going out to neighborhoods and making food more accessible and having it prepared already. So that's one social enterprise for a...
And it still continues what they're doing. It just brings it out and makes them more helpful.
Exactly. Other nonprofits are doing consignment shops of different variety, some high-end, some very practical. Others are doing a cafe. If they're already providing food to their clients, there's one agency, DACO, that has opened a cafe, and so they're serving their employees, their guests, people who work in the neighborhood, and they hope to make money that way. Our social enterprise is what I mentioned earlier, going to corporations and training their board members. A very needed service in this community for which we get paid. We should get paid. Everybody that provides a service has a right to get paid a reasonable amount. That's the essence of social enterprise. It is bettering the community.
Yeah, and there's probably, with all the government cutbacks, more dependence on the nonprofits for services, whether it's, we've interviewed many nonprofits on this particular show. So we have people taking care of the homeless, people taking care of people who are abused in some form, or children, or the mentally disabled right now. I think the reliance on the nonprofit is going to be even greater as we see government cut back the way they have.
Tremendously, and that's why our business is thriving and going to continue to thrive, because we teach nonprofits how to do their business better. And everybody needs to be a lot more efficient now. There's a lot less money to go around, and those that don't manage their money well are not going to be around. And funding sources are looking for those nonprofits that have boards that are active and engaged and powerful, and they're looking for nonprofits who are efficient. So we provide that knowledge to the community of nonprofits.
I think you're going to have to do a class in how to for staff in how they can get to learn to wear multiple hats now that we have. Or do you do that already?
We don't, but you know, dealing with stress, how about that?
Dealing with stress,
typical
coping with the stress of it, but
multitasking.
Well, because as we've all had to, as you just said, you know, you have to tighten your belt, you have to be really efficient in what you're doing, then most of us have had to take on, you know, additional roles. If someone left because of attrition or whatever, then somebody else or two people have to take those roles apart and do something with them.
Exactly.
We only have a minute left. What have we left out, Grace, that we make sure that that these viewers know about?
Well, we have programs throughout the year on all sorts of topics, and I would encourage your viewers to visit our website. Plus, if somebody asks us for a particular topic, we hope to oblige. So if there's an interest on any particular topic, please let us know, and we will certainly try to oblige.
Thanks so much for coming down to talk to everybody, and I hope your phone rings and your website gets busy. Thank you all for tuning in. Please visit our website as well, www.tbcn.org. Thank you.
News you can use. Hi, I'm Bob Terry with Pyramid Inc., and you're watching Tampa Bay Community Network.